Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like there is yet another civil war in the Zenless Zone Zero space. It looks like when there isn't a common enemy to fight, because I've kind of just stopped making Zenless Zone Zero content, because I think the game is kind of not good. Well, it looks like they are turning on each other, ladies and gentlemen. I've got this video by none other than Arikado Zodan on the screen, an individual who we've had a couple of scuffles in the past. We've worked things out, but he's somebody that typically covers Zenless Zone Zero, makes content for the game, and it turns out that he's had a bit of a conflict because Joshua over here is, well, not being very respectful with the critiques that he's giving. And I actually have had a previous run-in with Josh in the past. Let me provide some context over here, where he decided to twist my words, paraphrase my statements to A, badmouth me, and B, try to prove something wrong using illogical arguments. So let's just go ahead and see this little bit of context over here so you can hear what my take was 2 months ago regarding this guy.
The HP and the bosses are going higher and higher and higher. That's exactly the Saintontas argument.
That's exactly the Saintontas argument. Let's keep listening to what he says.
Bro, why can I use my 1 point?
First things I want to get straight is that he's incorrectly paraphrasing my argument over here. He's also using a mocking voice. And then he's also, in the post-processing, putting a picture of a clown as he's mocking me using an incorrectly paraphrased take. What Josh, Joshua, Shoeboy, what he's doing here is just trying to farm this part of the community. And let's just read this part of the community. This is the part of the community that irrationally hates me for simply speaking facts about the game. Because pretty much every single Zenless Zone creator at this point has recognized that pretty much every single take that I've made regarding the game in the past has come to life. Everything that I said in regards to HP inflation, shilling of the endgame buffs, making characters unusable within literally months of them releasing. Just look at fucking Hugo, boys. Good God, right? All of that stuff. Blatant power creep. Miyabi ruining the game. It's all correct. Because they have things like Anomaly being nerfed behind the scenes because Miyabi is too strong. All of these crazy, hyper-predatory things. They all happened. Tell them, you're thinking this way. You have these concerns.
No builds, my 1.1 build to clear the Miasma Priest. What is this? You guys are using the Saintontas argument. I don't think you guys would agree with, but now you guys are like, oh, that's why I disagree with Saintontas.
He's basically saying, you guys are feeling this way. You have this take. But just so you know, Saint made this take months ago. So isn't your take actually wrong because Saint made it in the past? And that's what he did. And the funny thing is, on this video where he's bad-mouthing me, you can just look at the dislike ratio. Yeah, this thing has 292 likes and 407 dislikes. So, yeah, he's just full of shit over here. So anyways, that's just some of the context for why I'm not very much of a fan of this guy. He does have a tendency to not actually do any research, not paraphrase takes properly, and proceeds to regularly bastardize the arguments of the opposing side to make his points look more valid. And I've actually pre-watched this video and he does the same fucking thing. So let's go ahead and get right on into it.
Oh, dude, this is I'm gonna say his name because God forbid, like, this guy's name is brought up a lot.
Who do you think he's referring to right now?
This is worse than Saint, bro.
What a fucking rat. Anyways, let's keep going.
Saint gets more viewership, but like this is
once again using my name, providing no context at all, and then trying to use my name to invalidate somebody else once again. He used my name to invalidate ALG's video, and now he's trying to use my name to invalidate Arikado Zodan now. And this has become the new ZZZ meta. You're actually wrong because it's like what Saint did. I'm also going to provide no examples, no proof. I'm just going to say you're like Saint, so you're wrong. Nice. What an insurmountable opposition. What a flawless argument. No rebuttals possible.
More videos than Saint. Holy cow. Who suggested this to me? I'm not mad. Who suggested this to me again? Who the fuck suggested this to me?
That's a cold intro, brother. Let's get ready for the rest of this.
Let me set the record straight before what comes next. I did attempt to contact Joshua directly about this matter in an attempt to deal with this in a mature and constructive fashion.
Hey, appreciate the... Okay, Decky. Okay, I gotta turn that off. Oh, you're going crazy. You can keep gifting, but I gotta turn off my Twitch because it's making that beepy noise.
But for whatever reason, he's decided not to respond back to me. I got stonewalled on Twitter and told to type out what I wanted to ask in YouTube chat, only for him to ignore my messages.
That's a bit of a bitch-made move. Especially when you were just shit-talking the guy. One thing that I make sure to do is that if I'm going to... well, critique somebody, I always give them an audience, I always give them an opportunity later if they want to hash things out and talk about it. The thing is, it's just nobody ever wants to do that with me for some reason. I wonder why.
Even when I proceeded to ask on Twitch.
Maybe because they're wrong.
As well as trying to get him to respond with a $5 donation that he proceeded to ignore completely.
Damn, Stuart Little going kind of crazy over here. Is that going to be the Stuart Little method of, Stuart Little Joshua method of content creation? He going to go over, talk mad shit about somebody, and then ignore them, and then hope that they donate so that he can ignore that message too?
Here's my credentials for my experience and time investment in Zenless Zone Zero, in case there's anyone who doesn't already know me or questioning if I was an actual fan or some doom-posting, rage-baiting hack.
Basically, Joshua framed Arikado as somebody that doesn't play the game, and that he was just talking shit and making criticism for absolutely no reason other than to just farm hate for the game. So, of course, he's coming in with all the receipts for how that's not actually happening.
Joshua, an incredibly connected content creator in the Zenless Zone Zero community, reacted to my video discussing open world exploration during a live stream on the 17th of November. Over the course of roughly half an hour, he would proceed to dismiss my critique with personal anecdotes that don't accurately represent the ZZC community, shame me for being ignorant of information that is not widely known in due fault by Hogyo versus poor global communication.
So he spread misinfo, and also bastardized his video. Much like how Joshua, when he was reacting to ALG's video about the endgame, he proceeded to bastardize all the arguments that were showing up in that video. And, well, that's the reception that that video got when he was, Joshua, talking, basically openly talking shit about openly talking shit about ALG. And you want to know who Josh apologized to? Josh apologized to Average Luck Gamer for this dog shit reaction. Because ALG is a good guy. And ALG is a bigger streamer than he is and a bigger content creator. So Josh looks like he will apologize for bastardizing somebody's content when it's somebody that's bigger than him. But when it's Arikado or somebody smaller than him, well, get ready to be left on red, buddy boy. So that's some of the context over there. Sounds like a fun one, right?
Anecdotes that don't accurately represent the ZCC community, shame me for being ignorant of information that is not widely known in due fault by Hogyo versus poor global communication.
So this is misinformation.
Slander my name by comparing me unfavorably to the most infamous content creator in the Zenless Zone Zero space.
So I'll give him a pass for this one. And the reason why I'll give him a pass is because he said compared to unfavorably. So I'm glad that he did the specification there. Because there are good comparisons that you can make, right? Regarding me. But they're obviously bad ones. And the one that Josh used was clearly in bad faith.
Saintontas, and generally just going on and on about how he wasted his time watching my video in a very disrespectful manner to me and my own personal work.
And you want to know what the funny thing is? Is that if I think a video is like bad, I won't straight up say it's like bad. I'll give a lot of good reasons for why. You just saw Josh being a little bitch over here and be like, why did somebody make me watch this? Who linked this? Who did this? You need to stop that right now. I'll say, yeah, the points in here weren't represented that well. There didn't seem to be that much cohesion between X and Y. And here's why I didn't think that this video was that great of a use of time. Or here's how I think it could have been done better. Brother,
I will of course be defending myself in this video, so let's go over what he had to say about me and my video. To start off with, my opinions of the exploration lacking meaningful rewards or engaging gameplay were dismissed because you can farm the respawning enemies for resources and that he does it all the time. This also extends to the refreshing materials that can be exchanged from temple management and Devon's pawn shop.
Okay, they're talking about overwhelmed resources.
Entire areas within the Lemnian Hollow, which consist of being long, empty corridors with a handful of finite rewards to pick up and a couple enemy spawns that—
Did he say finite rewards? Did he say finite rewards? Yes, they limit you because they give you so fucking much. If you were to come away with everything, yo, what the heck? The chests are? Okay, maybe the chests are. Okay, the finite resources are the chests. Okay. You know what? You're right. You're right. The chests are finite. But like literally the materials that you can get from running the Lemnian Hollow, as you guys see me do almost every single day, I can build characters off of them for free.
Okay, so one of the positives of Zenless Zone Zero for the longest time—
Zenless Zone Zero is the game with one of the worst character building processes I've ever seen in a game before. The amount of time that it takes, like just day-wise, using regular energy to get enough resources to max out a character is one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen. Straight up, I feel like 90% of your playtime in the game is like actually just building fucking units. And it's just, the amount of time it takes is disgusting.
is that it's one of the faster gacha games to complete your dailies and spend your stamina in,
That part is true though.
allowing for daily account management that can fit comfortably in most players' day-to-day real.
This is more so the point that Josh was making before about him being able to build characters for free. Brother, the amount of resources it takes to do that makes it just impossible.
lives. Joshua wants to take that very advantage ZZZ has and completely throw it out the window in favor of running around the same handful of maps and fighting the same trivial enemies with no challenge posed to the player for the lowest rarity of agent and W engine experience material from enemy drops. Every single day. And on
I'll just let it play.
top of that, fiddling around with the poorly designed user interface of the temple management system to gradually accumulate pawn shop currency to buy out the refreshing resource stock. It is at this point that I must remind everyone that Joshua is a full-time content creator and live streamer.
Guys, this is why I don't farm echoes. This is why I don't farm echoes in the overworld, because I like to be at least somewhat relatable. The only time you see me do something in Wuwa like farm echoes is from a fucking Tacit Field or a Nightmare Nest. Just like how everybody fucking else is doing it. I'm not over here saying characters are super easy to build as I like play like fucking, what is it? Like just go around and fucking echo pick in the world for 7 hours a day in the just chatting category. And then after farming for 8 hours a day, getting 500 drops, right? Guys, getting echoes is so easy. Guys, getting the new Nightmare set is super easy. I just farm for 10 hours off stream.
He is getting paid to play a casual gacha game for hours upon hours, one way or another. Of course he has the time to waste grinding low-rarity experience drops. It's live stream fodder content that he doesn't have to think twice about if it's actually fun to do or a boring slog to everyone else.
I think that if your gameplay consists of you doing brainless, repeatable content and then treating the game as a just chatting category, that's fine, but don't pretend that like that is like good content. I think that's more so the take from my end. Is like, don't pretend that like that is something that anybody else would do with their free time. Especially if you're somebody that's at the stage of experience that Josh is in ZZZ. Literally a year and a half into the game, you're not doing daily farming runs anymore unless you're like a weirdo. Legitimately. Or you're streaming it.
But like literally the materials that you can get from running the Lemnian Hollow, as you guys see me do almost every single day, I can build characters off of them for free. Every single day.
Let's bring some actual numbers into the mix. Leveling an agent from level 0 to 60 requires 300 senior investigation logs, which gives 3,000 agent experience each. The only tier of drop you can get from exploration is the trainee investigator log, which gives 100 agent experience.
So you need 30 of these. Okay.
30 trainee logs comes out to 1 senior log. So to have an equivalent of agent EXP to 300 senior logs, you would need 9,000 trainee investigator logs.
So remember, Josh said that he just builds characters from them, so he must be getting around 9,000 of these then.
Using 20 battery or 2 hours worth of stamina at the HIA Club for investigator logs nets you 3 to 4 senior investigator logs and 3 to 4 official investigator logs. Official logs offer 600 agent EXP or the equivalent of 6 trainee investigator logs. Assuming the lowest drop of 3 on both logs, you should have the equivalent of 108 trainee investigator logs after fighting just 1 pack of trash mobs. If you roll high on both logs, it's the equivalent of 144 trainees logs. The footage you're seeing on screen is about 10 minutes worth of just running between mob packs and clearing them out, and I got about 112 trainee investigator logs, which comes out to a little over 3 senior investigator logs equivalent. That doesn't sound so bad when you think about it, as well as the possibility of either optimizing your runs using teleporters and agents that are less reliant on EX special attacks to do damage, as energy does not regenerate outside of combat.
So it's kind of like, for 10 minutes, you can get something similar to like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours worth of stamina.
However, no matter how you look at it, you are now asking a casual player to more than double their playtime for daily account management in order to reap the benefits of a fraction of what they get out of spending their stamina and just logging off.
Doubling your playtime for the equivalent of 2 hours of stamina.
This is not compelling content. This is not challenging content either. We're not talking about the high replay value of Hollow Zero, or the test of endurance and enemy knowledge of the Battle Tower. We're talking about grinding out trivial button mashing content that would give version 1 ZZZ and the countless past complaints of it being a brainless, easy game a run for its money. Yet Joshua will shun you for not wanting to throw your limited free time into a wood chipper the same way the glorified IRL category streamer can do and get paid for it. And
he's going off. I'm gonna just let him keep going off.
This is all without having mentioned the tempo management content that you're also expected to do, regardless of whether or not you wanted to even play a bare bones business tycoon simulator instead of challenging hack and slash combat in the hack and slash gacha game.
Well, little do you know, Arikado, they are removing the need to do any of that shit in the Sweebian Temple because the devs realized it was a waste of fucking time too. Much like with many of the fucking features in Zenless Zone Zero, the way that they improve Zenless Zone Zero, ladies and gentlemen, is by removing the features. Much like how they removed ZZZ in 1.4 by removing the TVs, they're improving it again in 2.4 by removing the Sweebian Temple.
I work a full-time job, 9 hours a day, 5 days a week. There's only so much gacha busy work I will put up with before I want to tap out. Yep. I love playing Zenless Zone Zero, but I also recognize that it's a gacha game and that there are countless situations in these games where the juice just isn't worth the squeeze.
Remember the last time you overworld farmed for echoes for a character? Remember the last time you went around and collected all the interactables for as many shell credits as possible? There's a cap, by the way, each day. No, nobody does because they don't fucking do it because the goal is to not play these games like a job. It's spend your stamina, it's get the fuck out, and then kind of like move on from there. Yes, you can optimize your gameplay by playing Giga Sweaty and get very, very, very minute additional bonuses for that extra playtime, but it's not something that everybody does, and the need for it drops dramatically as your playtime increases.
This being one of those times. If I'm going to play ZZZ for an extended play session as a day 1 hardcore player, I'm either going to push for a higher Battle Tower record or run Hollow Zero with most of the modifiers activated, and I do so because it's fun content that challenges my game experience and knowledge.
Much like how, if you're buckling down for the weekend to play Woo-Wah, you're probably going to want to spend more times in things like holograms, TOA, or Wee-Wah resets. You'd rather spend more time there, probably, than echo picking, if you were trying to maximize the amount of fun that you were having in that playtime.
But unfortunately, I don't even earn any rewards for my progress in Battle Tower content past a certain point, and Hollow Zero's Z merits are limited to Denny purchases after exhausting the monthly shop reset. Joshua's failure to recognize the importance of the casual player's value of their own time and smearing of my critique is a blatant lack of empathy to a large majority of gacha players who don't have anywhere near the same level of privilege as a full-time gacha content creator.
So, let's just be honest over here. Joshua was the same person that was basically saying that ZZZ's endgame, shilling, HP inflation, wasn't an issue at all because he pulls every single character. That was like the main thing. He just plays this game like a fucking job. He pulls every single fucking unit. And so the point of view that he has cannot be moderated for a more casual audience or somebody that doesn't play as much as him. And it's kind of bad, in my opinion, to be a content creator who's never going to put themselves in the shoes of a more casual experience when casual players are 90% of the game's population. And if you can't have that frame of mind as you're going ahead and you're curating your content, I don't feel like your content is going to be something that a lot of people really jive or get along with. And that's why the dislike ratio on this video is so fucking terrible. Because yes, he didn't learn from this incident, ladies and gentlemen. He didn't learn from the first time where he was being an elitist about the game, an elitist that spends thousands of dollars on the game. He just had to do it again another time.
Out of touch, disconnected from reality, mint picker behavior.
I should just let Arikado talk more.
And that should have honestly been the end of it. A full-time creator with personal freedoms that many would sacrifice their very lives for once again imposes their tone-deaf perspective of how people should spend their limited free time and leave it at that. And yet, it gets worse, as Joshua would then proceed to look down on me for not knowing about the extended 2.5 developer talk on BillyBilly when discussing the future of exploration content in my video.
So, I've seen this section over here. It's really bad. I just want to get you guys, like, loaded up on here with context beforehand. This one's way worse than what he did before.
Completely agreed. They should have scrapped the exploration stuff and made some procedurally generated tiles for Hollow instead. Wow. I see someone read the dev notes. Like, bro, why did I give this a view when literally the devs already mentioned the fix? And they have already addressed this whole issue with the dev talk, with the BillyBilly dev talk. Why did I watch this?
So he's basically saying Arikado's video is kind of shit because the devs already said that they're fixing it.
Gosh, you wasted your time. Okay. We gotta tell this person to watch the dev note. I don't think anybody's mentioned the dev note here. So maybe just people don't know about the dev notes and don't know about the dev talk. To be fair, the dev talk was only on BillyBilly. The devs are looking into making new unstable hollows with procedurally generated maps, which is...
The guy looks like a crackhead. I don't know what it is, but like he has like a... It looks like he's balding. Doesn't it? Not that there's anything wrong with that. But like that's looking kind of thin. I'm gonna be real with you over there. That's looking a little thin. I guess that's what happens when you grinded the Lemnian Hollow for 15 minutes every day. Does some damage.
Super cool. And I'm very excited to see how they expand upon this even next level of exploration.
Here's the thing though, I did know about the BillyBilly dev talk.
So basically he's saying, yeah, Arikado's video's some dog shit because this dumbass didn't watch the fucking BillyBilly dev talk like he should have if he was a real Zenless Zone Zero content creator. So let's hear the rebuttal.
Knew about the translated version available in a public Google document. So then, why didn't I address it? Simple. Because if the information was so important for people to see, then I simply figured that it should have all been in the global dev talk notes in the Hoyo Lab blog post. If there was important information in the BillyBilly dev talk that did not make it to the global blog post, then that is no one's fault besides Hoyoverse. Players are not responsible for a company's failure to communicate to them.
True. The idea that somebody is supposed to go ahead and read an exclusively and watch an exclusively Chinese thing that was not shown in the global version of the game, and then talking down on them, implying that they're stupid or didn't do enough research because they didn't look at the Chinese only version of what they already saw. I'm going to be honest. That's, well, you're just being a fucking asshole at that point, aren't you?
To suggest otherwise is an unreasonable expectation. I don't have the free time to camp a leaks subreddit or foreign social media page for every little nugget of information.
Arikado is really honing in on the, I have a fucking job that I earn 6 figures at. You're talking all this shit to me. Fuck off. That's the vibe that I'm getting from these statements over here. I'm too busy to do all of this shit that you're asking that I do.
But I guess since this is Joshua we're talking about, I guess I should really just give up every single choice I have in my own personal life at this rate.
Every single day?
But you know what? Fine. Okay, I did say that I'd like to be proven wrong about the situation and that the ZZZ team knows how to fix exploration. And this procedurally generated content Joshua keeps going on about sounds promising. So I went ahead and took a look at the translated Google document for what he keeps going on about. Slight problem though, there is not a single mention of any procedurally generated content in this extended dev talk.
And that's the kicker. Josh proceeded to talk shit about Arikado Zodan's video, proceed to imply that he's not doing proper research and that he's not even making an attempt to look at the resources that he should be looking at. But the end result is that Josh didn't even look at the fucking thing himself either, and he just took a bullshit summary that somebody else wrote. He was too lazy to even look at it himself, and then was making some ridiculous conclusions like there being procedurally generated content, and just spread a fuck ton of that misinfo everywhere for fun. And remember, the reason why he did it was to talk down to somebody, was to invalidate Arikado's video, to make and drag somebody's name through the mud. He was spreading that misinformation. I can excuse spreading misinfo on accident in an attempt to either, like, you know, maybe hype something up, or to, like, you know, like make something seem better than it is. I can understand a little bit of misinfo there, right? Because you're on the hopeful side. But to see somebody create misinfo to bring others down and to invalidate their points and to imply that they're stupid or not putting in effort or being, like, lazy, oh, I think that's way worse. When it's misinfo that Josh made because he was too lazy to even look at the fucking resource that he was talking about. He was too lazy to look at that dev talk. And you want to know what the best part is? Josh was too lazy to even know what I was saying in my videos. And then just decided to YOLO paraphrase what I said so he could bring me and my arguments down. So again, this is something that Josh has learned absolutely nothing from in the past when he's done it before, and he just did it again for fun.
Joshua is talking down to me over a function that he made up and was never uttered by Y in the 2.5 dev talk.
Where am I missing that at? Where, hold on, did I miss this? Let me go, like, where am I?
This is just Fox Soul looking for like 30 minutes to find out where the piece is. I don't need to watch this because I'm afraid I might catch a secondhand. You know how, like, when you're in the same room where somebody's smoking, you can get like secondhand smoke? I'm afraid that watching the same video that he made is going to give me secondhand alcoholism. So I'm just going to skip it for now.
Not seeing what Josh is talking about.
So maybe just people don't know about the dev notes?
I don't see anything about that.
The devs are looking into making new unstable hollows with procedurally generated maps, which is super cool.
I don't see anything that Josh is talking about right there.
That's a nice argument, Senator. Why don't you back it up with a source?
That's pretty much all we needed from that entire section. But, hey, get that ad revenue, brother.
Sources that I made it the fuck up. Imagine a world, Ride, and free of cancel culture, where no one can call me out for my outlandish claims. A world where I can say...
We gotta tell this person to watch the dev note.
In case anyone's keeping track right now, we're now on strike 2 for Joshua's inability to act as a qualified voice for the Zenless Zone Zero community.
Bro's just saying, bro's like, gah, gah, da, 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 da. Holy shit!
He can't empathize with the fatigue and frustrations of players in regards to busy work content in
He's not an appropriate voice for the community.
place of meaningful experiences from their favorite game, and instead remarks how just because he's okay with it, and again, it's because he gets paid to do whatever he wants, that means you should be able to, with no complaints of quality or compensation. And now, he's running defense for Hoyoverse's poor global communication skills and peddling fabricated information of what was actually discussed in the 2.5 BillyBilly dev talk.
It speaks volumes to me for a guy to be so desperate to prove other people wrong that he's just going to make shit up. I'm going to be honest. That is like, I think that is just no proof, no evidence, no source. Just literally, it's always, I made it the fuck up. Like literally, like no support, nothing's to support it. It's just a statement. How? Like, don't you want to have at least like a little bit of self-confidence in that you at least might be right before saying declarative statements?
Yet speaks with such
that's why I don't feel comfortable just saying things. That's why I always put in like a might or like it's possible, right? Because I want to at least have like a little bit of confidence in what I'm saying if I'm going to be declarative about it. But Josh just like fucking Jesus takes the wheel.
confidence and conviction about how anyone who doesn't know what he knows is just not well informed enough. None of what I can see would suggest any implementation of procedurally generated content at all. It's all just stuff that was condensed into more digestible reading material for the Hoyo Lab global blog post. Absolutely none of the quotes that come even close to talking about exploration or area design has anything to do with confirming or even hinting at procedural generation for newer game versions. At this point, I'm beginning to wonder if you're the one who's wasting my time, Joshua, making me go on a wild goose chase for a feature you made up in your head.
Hey, it's Schrodinger's procedural generation.
And if any of whatever you're talking about comes from leaked content from Chinese servers, which I doubt it, but I'll continue on this line of thought anyway, you should know right now that I do not cover ZZZ leaks on this channel. Leaked content is incredibly saturated in the ZZZ space right now, with everyone salivating at what's to come in 2.5.
I don't know a single ZZZ content creator that doesn't do leaks, because nobody is ever excited for what's in the game during the patch, because they're always looking forward to the next patch, because it's always, the current patch is never good. And so they're always looking ahead, but like there's never been a time in ZZZ history where people aren't looking ahead desperately. They're never satisfied with the existing patch, because it's always a letdown.
I stopped fixating on leaks years ago after I left Genshin Impact. I have plenty to do in the now that I don't care about discussing leaks the same way everyone else seems to be whom I share the space with. I have no problem with them doing it, but I'm simply not interested. Especially given the incomplete nature of leak content and it's subject to change. Just go ask r/BonU mains if digging their noses where they weren't supposed to has gotten them anywhere but despair and copium. So, either this talk of procedural holo content either doesn't exist and you made it up, or it's leak content and I'm not going to blame anyone for not wanting to cover that stuff, and you shouldn't either.
That's fair. The thing is, I think Hoyoverse affiliated CCs are like allowed to look at leaks for ZZZ because Hoyoverse knows that the content space for the game is like fucking cooked. So Hoyo literally doesn't care if like ZZZ sponsored CCs look at leaks. Legitimately. I've like never seen a dynamic like that one before. I personally think it's fucking wild. But there's a reason why so many of them are always looking at it.
And yet here we are with you talking down to me over something that was never real. And yet, somehow, by some unholy trinity that has befallen me, it gets even worse.
Oh, dude, this is I'm gonna say his name because God forbid, like, this guy's name is brought up a lot. This is worse than Saint, bro. Saint gets more viewership, but like this is more videos than Saint. Holy cow! Who suggested this to me? I'm not mad. Who suggested this to me again? Who the fuck suggested this to me?
And if any of you thought this may have just been a very twisted joke, I hate to tell you, this wasn't a joke, because he doubled down on it.
And I'll be so honest, like, it was a waste of my last 20 minutes. Not that it was your fault at all,
Why is this guy out here talking like his time is valuable when he grinds the Lemnian Hollow every day? Just shut the fuck up, bro. Straight up, like, how are you out here bitching and moaning about how much time you spent when you openly admit to grinding the Lemnian Hollow every fucking day? You retard. That doesn't even make sense.
It's coming in at a weird time where we're reacting to a video that's quite inflammatory. Like
bro's bitching about spending 20 minutes one time versus the 15 plus minutes he spends every day in the fucking Lemnian Hollow.
I don't know. Yo, maybe the enemy of my enemy is my friend, Saint. Yo, bro, we're gonna get along real well, brother. Saint, buddy, hey, let's hang out. Let's go get some drinks, baby.
Oh, hell no! Hell no! No! Nah, I'm good.
And that right there is strike 3. Words cannot describe how I first felt after watching this reaction. Betrayed, backstabbed, wronged by, defeated, dejected, demotivated, demoralized, all of it, and many more. A larger name in the ZZZ space with a wealth of free time is lecturing me, a man with responsibilities and obligations in order to keep a roof over his own head, on needing to educate myself, then proceeds to project a false narrative of me with his own uneducated opinions based on a 3-minute video and a dozen thumbnails. Yes, I do critique Zenless Zone Zero, because critique content is what I'm most fond of. I don't have the time or personal drive to make guide content. I don't want to cover leaks, nor do I need to. I hate the idea of becoming a React channel.
Hey, just learn how to react well. I know that one person who's really fucking bad at reacting is Shoeboy, Stuart Little. That guy needs to, I'm gonna be honest, that guy needs to stop. There are some creators that need to recognize you're not good at React content. You're not. And the reality is that, well, when you do React content like this, you open yourself up to a response. And there's a reason why I openly do React content and I don't frequently get responses. Do you know why? Because I just say the facts. I just spit truth. I just say what it is. And I don't leave people room for a response because I word my points well. And I also make sure to give space where it's needed if I don't want to push on something. There's a reason why I don't really have anybody responding back to me. And then saying, well, Saint's just an evil bastard. Guy, you need to call him out. That's why these videos don't get made about me. Or if they do, they're literally mass downvoted. This one's mass upvoted. Because Arikado is without a doubt spitting right here.
And you don't want me to review anyone's own account under any circumstances. Zenless Zone Zero is a game with many problems, and needs some much-needed tough love by its fans when it's necessary. But to suggest that I only provide negative coverage is such an insult to the content I've made over the 6 months I've been here.
Well, then you remember that Josh is getting paid by Hoyoverse to talk good about the game, so does it really matter that much?
Praise the buffing of my favorite character, Ellen Joe. Gone to bat for ZZZ at the height of the Wuthering Waves brigading by attempting to defuse both sides.
Okay, you kind of sucked dick at that one there. Let's just be real. Whatever you did in that video was not. Just don't do that.
Defended the TV mode and its value to ZZZ's development
All right, stop it, man.
cadence. Pushed back against the abuse of
Stop it.
Twitch tracker as a means to put down ZZZ
No,
and its community.
worse.
Defended the wider community against generalized statements
Stop it, man.
made against them in retaliation to the situation with Yuzaha's English voice actor on Twitter. Voiced my praise for version 2.1.
Just stop it. Stop it, bro. This is the thing. It's like, I want him to stop doing this because he's like wrong about everything. Like, this is the thing though. But I respect that he's willing to put all these videos up on here, even though like legitimately he's like wrong about 90% of them. I respect though that he's putting them up because it means he is standing on business. Because 2.1 was a piece of shit, bro. This patch sucked balls.
Defended the design of Yuzaha as a playable character, being more than just a one-button support agent, dedicated an entire video to praising the game, glazed the design of Yanagi's gameplay, made up with several ZZZ creators whom I had past conflict with, defended the Vivian skin pulling event,
Stop it.
gave my own solutions to the design problems of the Deadly Assault endgame mode, and approached the Blue Panda controversy with as open a mind as possible despite all the negative things I've heard about him.
This guy just, it seems weird.
Both public and private knowledge. I'm gonna let you guys all in on something. I've had the ability to monetize my channel's content ever since my second ever video I made, and even recently was reached out to for a sponsorship by what I assume to be a third-party top-up site. But in both cases, I have not activated monetized content and turned down the sponsorship. Any ads you see on my videos are a result of my occasional use of copyright music, nothing more. So why did I turn down these opportunities? Because I'm here for the passion of creating video content, to deliver my own thoughts and opinions out on the internet for people with shared interests to witness and engage with.
Yeah.
I love Zenless Zone Zero,
I could tell that.
Joshua, far more than you do. I come home from a long day and choose to play this game, and pour hours
Proof?
upon hours into covering and
Hey, I need to see proof. Who loves Zenless Zone Zero more, Shoeboy or Arikado Zodan?
talking about it. And the beauty of it all is that I can say and cover whatever I like without having to walk on eggshells around YouTube demonetization policies, third-party sponsorship contract obligations, and the sanitized nature of Hoyoverse creator programs.
Ooh, he's saying you can't speak what you actually think. Little Shoeboy, you're out here, you got a lot of things binding you. You got a lot of things holding you back, buddy boy. You got the ZZZ contract. You got your third-party partnerships. You got the monetization rules on YouTube. Get the fuck out of here, man.
I walked away from a potentially fruitful endeavor of siding with Saintontas and anti-Hoyoverse parties because I never felt like I belonged in that clique of people.
Hey, you just ain't built for me, brother. You just ain't built to be a part of this crowd. Yeah, there are no furries in Wuwa. They only got Ling Yang, unfortunately. So it's just, yeah, it was never going to be a good fit.
When Foxsoul reached out to me and I had a 6-hour conversation with a man that I thought would do wrong by me, I was instead extended a hand and finally found a home in content creation that I felt I wanted to truly settle down in.
You got secondhand alcoholism. Congrats.
When I came back from my hiatus, I went to work, cleaned up my bullshit, adjusted my video format to facilitate a healthier work-life balance, and made connections with several ZZZ creators whom I never saw myself as being alongside. So how do you think I felt when I was attacked in my very home? Not by invaders, but by a well-respected leader who can easily cut me off from so many opportunities if he felt like it.
So let's think about it this way. Joshua has clearly had multiple instances where he's somehow managed to piss somebody off in the ZZZ community. But I am going to just ask people to temper some of their expectations a little bit over here when it comes to this whole community leader thing. This is like... that y'all gotta chill. Like, this ain't... This is like a code... This is not like code level Black Dragon. This is like code level green antelope. Like green caterpillar. Let's just relax for a second over here. We're not... This guy ain't going to move mountains. This guy ain't going to be out here, like, moving mountains, okay? Like, in fact, Arikado, I literally think your channel is doing better than his. I'm not even sarcastic. I'm pretty sure you are getting regularly more views than he is. Wait, you literally fucking are. Wait, why are you even tripping? You mog this guy breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Your daydream is like his full night's sleep. What are we doing here? Bro, he pulled M6R5 and got sub 1K views. Yo, don't let this guy make you schizo out. You're good, bro.
If there was truly a time for me to crash out like I used to, it's right now. But I've gotten a better handle of my emotions, and frankly, I don't want to deal with this spoiled brat any longer.
Ooh.
So I'll just leave on this. Joshua, I expected better from a creator of your status and renown in the Zenless Zone Zero community, and your mistreatment of me was inexcusable. I have never felt more disrespected by another CC the entire time I've been here than I have by you. You might say that I'm worse than Saintontas, but the truth of the matter is that Saintontas is simply better than you.
Anyways, awesome video by Arikado Zodan over here. You can probably tell by some of the additional context that I provided, I'm not very particularly happy with Josh myself. And this is the thing. If Josh had simply gone ahead, brought up past clips, brought up past receipts as he made his, you know, demeaning statements about me, and actually gave a reason for why he was saying the things that he was saying, I would have been fine with it, right? But when I see somebody lazily paraphrasing things off the top of their head without any attempt to validate what the fuck they're saying, and then proceed to use it as a way to try to, like, demean, degrade, or invalidate somebody's arguments, man, that's kind of fucking annoying, because you are one lazy motherfucker if you can't even do research on something that you're trying to do to disprove somebody else. And so this motherfucker did that one time already with me. I don't know how often this guy does it every day. He streams every single day. Maybe this is like a fucking... Maybe this is a part of his daily ZZZ missions. For 100 battery charge, it's like go spread misinfo online. Maybe he has a unique set of dailies that he just fucks around with. I don't know. But the fact that he did it here 2 months ago, and then not even 2 months later, he does it again. But this time, and this is the big time, he apologized to ALG when he did it to him. He has not apologized to Arikado Zodan yet. You wanna know why? Because Arikado only a 3.6k sub Andy. But maybe, Josh, maybe it is a good idea to actually start apologizing, because this guy literally gets more fucking views than you. Yeah, maybe this is a time to apologize before you're fucking... Bro, I don't even know what's going on. Is this cosmetic? Bro, this is like Homer Simpson in that one scene where, like, he looks fit, but it's actually all of his back fat that's getting, like, gripped and, like, tightened so that he just looks normal from the front, and then you look at the back and it looks like bro has wrinkles. Bro's back looks like a pug. Is that your sub count? Because, like, how the fuck is this happening, bro? Like, why you out? Like, go say sorry. You fucked up. Shoe boy. That'll be it for this one, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully we provided the context, and always happy to help a brother out when clearly he's being a little bit wronged over here. And I'm not gonna lie, this is one of the most disgusting situations one of the most disgustingly easily avoidable situations I've ever seen, where it's like, hey, maybe just like don't legitimately be a fucking asshole for actually no reason. Because I'm talking about Aricado's video over here. Bro's just saying the exploration sucks dick in ZZZ and should be better. I think 99% of people would agree with that. But he managed to take an opinion that I believe 99% of ZZZ players would recognize, this whole Lemnian Hollow shit, and say that the exploration in this game is not good. But this guy, because he's so financially motivated by Hoyoverse, bro's looking for any opportunity to, like, talk shit when it comes to any critique for the game. Even shit that's literally not defendable. Because his defense for the exploration is, brother, I grind it 15 minutes every day. But then he proceeds to bitch and moan about the 20 minutes he spent on somebody's 3-minute video. Maybe if you weren't trying your best to slob on Dewey's fucking knob so he increases your monthly deal size, maybe if you weren't trying so hard, that 3-minute video would have been a 10-minute react. But when you try to counteract every single point by making shit up, yes, a 3-minute video will turn into a 20-minute one because you're not just reacting to a video, you're creating literal fan fiction too. You silly motherfucker. All right, sorry. That's probably enough. He's probably already dead. But I don't know. Seeing somebody just do this again after they got called out for it and apologized 2 months ago, just seeing them do it again is crazy. It's crazy that they just do it again. I'm out.